Hello everyone, welcome to Inconvenient Truths. I'm your host, Jennifer Zeng. Now let's continue to talk about former Chinese Foreign Minister Qin Gang's downfall and its potential connection with the rocket force. We'll also explore the circumstances surrounding the death of the former head of the CCP's Central Guard Bureau and how these events could be Xi Jinping's fatal blows. Earlier this year, there were rumors online about the death of Wang Shaojun, the former head of the Central Guard Bureau, and some even said he was poisoned to death by the current head of the bureau, Zhou Hongxu. However, these rumors were never confirmed. On July 24th, Xinhua News Agency released a report stating that Wang Shaojun passed away in Beijing on April 26 at the age of 67 due to ineffective medical treatment. The question is, why was the news released almost 3 months after his death on April 26? Looking back, let's organize the timeline. Fu Xiaotian's disappearance, the investigation and rectification of the rocket force, and Wang Shaojun's death all started in April of this year. Some people jokingly said that the rocket force controls missiles capable of accurately hitting targets, while the Central Guard Bureau controls precise information about Xi Jinping's movements. If the rocket force and the Central Guard Bureau conspire to rebel, it would be the most powerful force. In addition, Qin Gang's disappearance occurred on June 26. Li Yuchao, the former commander of the rocket force, was taken away on June 27th, and Wang Shaojun's death was announced on July 24th. The news of Qin Gang's removal was released on July 25th, and on July 26th, official media briefly reported on Wu Guohua's death and then quickly deleted it. On the same day, the Equipment Development Department of the CCP's Central Military Commission issued an announcement calling for the public to report violations and irregularities in the procurement and bidding evaluation of military equipment. This investigation goes back 6 years, starting from October 2017. In addition to corruption, the violations and irregularities also include voluntary leaking of information. On July 28th, the South China Morning Post was authorized to release the first report on the purge of the rocket force. On July 21st, Xi Jinping appointed a new commander and political commissar for the rocket force and at the same time acknowledged the problems within the force. In summary, the highly coincidental timing of these events raises the question of whether they are merely coincidence or indeed related. At present, it is difficult to make a judgment. From the extent of the purge of the rocket force has undergone, it does not appear to be an ordinary corruption case, not even a simple leak of information. At the same time, the announcement from the Equipment Development Department of the CCP's Central Military Commission indicates that the Strategic Support Force is also under investigation and rectification. According to Yao Chen's internal military sources, the commander of the Strategic Support Force, Qin Gang, and the deputy commander Shang Hong are also implicated. Qin Gang has already been removed from his position, and the Strategic Support Force currently has no commander. So, I'm more inclined to believe that the rocket force problem is a matter of political loyalty, and the issue is an overall matter involving the entire system. Political loyalty includes possible resistance to Xi Jinping's preparations for attacking Taiwan. Leaks of sensitive information are also likely to exist, and it could be related to Wu Guohua's family. Otherwise, why would Zhang Xiaoming claim that his suicide was due to high work pressure and family disharmony? High work pressure could be translated as the pressure he faced during the investigation, and the family disharmony could imply that his family member caused a major incident that led him to commit suicide. Even if Qin Gang did not directly participate in the rocket force betrayal or leaks, his mishandling of events related to the rocket force might have given his political opponents within the foreign ministry or Xi Jinping's political rivals an opportunity to force him out. Xi had no choice but to remove Qin Gang from his position, which he had promoted. However, she wasn't happy about this, so he left Qin Gang with the title of state councillor as a counterstrike. Another phenomenon is that on July 28th, 3 days after Qin Gang's dismissal, former Deputy Foreign Minister Le Yucheng, who was once considered a leading candidate for foreign minister, was also removed from his position. Le Yucheng had served as the CCP's ambassador to Russia and was considered a pro-Russian figure within the foreign affairs system. In 2022, he was the only alternative member of the Central Committee among the 6 deputy ministers of the foreign ministry, making him the sole potential successor to Foreign Minister Wang Yi. However, he was later transferred out of the foreign ministry and appointed as deputy director of the National Radio and Television Administration, indicating that he had lost in the competition against Qin Gang. But just 3 days after Qin Gang's dismissal, Le Yucheng was removed from his position at the National Radio and Television Administration. Some people speculate that this was Xi Jinping's venting his frustration because he couldn't retain Qin Gang. As for whether Qin Gang was removed from his position due to the scandal with Fu Xiaotian, I personally believe it is not the case. Previously, the incident involving China's former Vice Premier Zhang Gaoli's sexual assault of Chinese tennis star Peng Shuai was widely circulated and had a significant impact. Yet the CCP did not take action against Zhang Gaoli. Therefore, it is even less likely that Qin Gang would be dealt with over a mirror scandal, especially considering that Fu Xiaotian's involvement was consensual. The months-long global search for Qin once again revealed to the world that the CCP's politics is a complete black box, and no one knows how it operates. Everything is based on speculation. The events involving the rocket force and the abnormal death of the Central Guard Bureau's director, which has not yet received sufficient attention from the international media, also highlight 2 other profound crises facing Xi Jinping. One crisis is how much control he really has over the military. If the military is pushed to its limits, will it rebel? The other crisis is whether Xi has anyone left around him whom he can trust. Can his personal safety be absolutely guaranteed? During the climax of the search for Qin, childhood friends and a university classmate of Qin Gang also came forward to expose his early life situation before he rose to power. According to them, Qin Gang came from an ordinary family. His mother, Lu, Lu Guizhen was a quality inspector at a textile factory in Tianjin City, and his father, Qin Gang, was an engineer at China Railway Design Group in Beijing. As a child, Qin Gang was not talkative and would only greet people when his mother tapped his head. Otherwise, he would remain silent. Because of this, he was nicknamed Piano, implying that he would make a sound only when pressed, just like a piano key. His university classmates said that he was also not very eye-catching during his college years, and the female students were not interested in him. In 4 years of college, they never saw him pursuing or dating any girls. And the sole reason he was able to climb to the pinnacle of power was that he had won Xi Jinping's favor. In 2015, during Xi Jinping's first state visit to the US since taking office as president, though Wang Yi and another deputy foreign minister were in the delegation, Qin Gang was repeatedly photographed appearing close to Xi Jinping at many events. In Seattle, when they visited Boeing's factory, Qin Gang was the only Chinese official accompanying Xi Jinping on an electric cart, aside from the translator and the security guards. Now, watch this video. It was filmed in June 2018 on a train from Beijing to Tianjin. When Putin was visiting China, you can see that the person who guarded the door for Xi Jinping and Putin was none other than Qin Gang. You can also see it was a very intimate environment. On the Chinese side, apart from the translator, Qin Gang was the only one there. Qin Gang's university classmate said, quote, during seminar welcoming and farewell ceremonies, Qin Gang was always in an advantageous position because he was close to Xi Jinping. By fulfilling his duties as the head of the protocol department, he deeply won General Secretary Xi's favor. And the G20 summit in 2016, a grand diplomatic event to showcase China's national prestige, world leaders gathered in Hangzhou. Xi Jinping stood at the center and as a world leader with Obama and Putin on his right and left. Such a glorious moment could not have been achieved without the careful preparation by the protocol department and Qin Gang's diligent assistance. Being worshipped by all nations is the highest realm of satisfying the desires of power of all emperors throughout history. From this moment, Qin Gang officially became the General Secretary's beloved confidant, unquote. However, with insufficient qualifications, Qin Gang's rapid rise inevitably triggered jealousy from other factions within the party. This may have led to his rapid downfall. As to Xi Jinping, despite consolidating enormous power, he has failed to win the hearts of the party, the military, the officials, and the people. Thus, his position, his power, and even his personal safety are as precarious as the party's itself. Well, that's all for today. Please remember to subscribe to my channel and double check your subscription status. If you enjoy my content, please kindly share my channel and videos and visit my website at jenniferzengblog.com for membership and donations to support my efforts. Thank you. See you next time. Have a happy weekend.